Right, damn, dude, that's actually a pretty good comeback. You might win this.
The problem with the way that we understand comedy is that, like, we forget that the goal of a comedian is to try to make you laugh, okay? And in that pursuit, they can say things that they don't even personally believe in. They can say things that they don't believe in. Their job is to try and get you to laugh. And if something is funny or it gets a lot of laughs, then that's going to be a part of their routine. Anyway, speaking of like the way people understand certain things, I feel like I'm developing a speech impediment here. Speaking of people like misunderstanding certain concepts, like Shane Gillis, okay? Shane Gillis is like the perfect representative of a dude who's like kind of chud coded, kind of like right-wing coded, but has, you know, liberal politics for the most part, okay? And now all of the right-wingers are like celebrating the Bud Light, celebrating Bud Light's demise because everybody forgot about that, right? Everybody forgot about Bud Light and they just kind of dropped the whole like, yeah, we hate Bud Light, like Bud Light is for queer people, they're queering our children, just like they forgot about the Target boycott, all this other shit. They don't have enough like attention span to keep up this sort of thing. Anyway, they have decided that they have basically decided that Shane Gillis is like definitely right-wing. He's like a super huge right-wing guy. And he says like pro-conservative things. Says guy who doesn't understand like Fox News dad is a bit. You know what I mean? So now they're celebrating Bud Light working with Shane Gillis because they're like, oh, they're trying to win it back. It's like, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but Bud Light was always supporting right-wing politicians, as I mentioned, okay? From the jump. Bud Light has never not given more money to right-wing politicians than left-wing politicians. You're stupid, okay? That's number one. Number two, these people literally think, and I guess some radlibs also think, that if you, I don't know, say the R word or say ableist shit as a comedian, that you are a right-winger automatically. The people that believe this are all of the right-wingers who are desperate for any kind of representation from Hollywood. And the other people who also believe this are basically the radlibs that are like, oh my god, this person said something that I don't agree with, which means like his entire worldview revolves around being a fascist. His jokes are, I mean, he has some takes that are touch and go. They're definitely a little bit like seasoned. It's the same shit with like Nick Mullen. Okay. Calling Shane Gillis right wing is hilarious. Like he's mocking you, dude. I know. It's like looking at Stephen Colbert. It's like watching Stephen Colbert and being like, well, this guy definitely is like a right winger. Okay. Early Stephen Colbert.
The gayer the army, the scarier. Forever, dude. Throughout history. Think of any army throughout history. Imagine them gay. Gay Nazis? Just when you thought those guys couldn't look any sharper, they... Gay Vikings? Gay Vikings, dude. You're just some villager looking out on the shoreline, see a bunch of Viking longships coming. You're like, oh no. It's the Vikings. They're gonna rape our wives and daughters. Then they pull up their rainbow flag on their boat and you're just like, oh. Oh, that's way worse. Dudes with Down syndrome.
That's such a, like, thinking that this is like inherently a right-wing joke is so stupid. But yeah, it's literally, you're right. Hasan is a bi is correct. It's literally because Shane Gillis said one slur and got kicked off of SNL before making an appearance. You say one slur and all of a sudden you're a conservative. It's so odd. It's odd because on the one hand, like, conservatives are voluntarily admitting that if you say slurs, you're automatically a conservative. Like, conservatism is about saying slurs, which is a position that I hold. I'm supposed to say that, and conservatives are supposed to say, that's not true. It's about free speech. No, motherfucker. They literally are like, no, dog, if you say a slur, okay, you're automatically a conservative. No, I've mentioned this a million times over, and I don't even think was it that he like said a slur, or was he was doing like, and he was doing Asian bits, okay? He was doing like classic, like, I'm trying to be like Nick Mullen ass shit early on in his career, as did an entire genre of comedians, okay? And the reality is, when you're doing it on a podcast, if it's not funny, it's awful. And if it's awful, you're towing like a very you're basically towing like a very fine line. If you go to that area, if that's what your like bits are going to be around, you have to be really funny. If it's not funny, then it's racist. Okay, so he was up for SNL, and they found like his old or they found his like memes about Asian people or whatever, and they were very upset, and they SNL dropped him before hiring him, which is fine. I mean, he had a lot of banger sketches. You know, he had a lot of banger sketches before this, and since then. Can't speak about his other stuff, but as a developmentally and learning disabled person, some of Shane's bits about Down syndrome were actually pretty wholesome and really humanizing. I don't even know his bits about Down syndrome. This is the first time I've heard it, but
bow flag on their boat. You're just like, oh, oh, that's way worse. Dudes with Down syndrome love women so much that like. I've never been a believer of being gay as a choice, but I will say every dude I know that can't think loves pussy.
But there's a lot of people that automatically will associate homosexuality with some kind of perversion for whatever unfortunate reason.
Well, it's because the reason is because it's guys fucking each other in the butt.
yeah, I love that he saw this and was like, that's it. That's my guy. He must be a right winger. Oh, I think that there's something to be said. That's literally the same exact joke that I would make. Okay. There's something to be said about your brain on extreme politics. And by that, I mean, like, you've just done too much politics. Okay. You've done so much politics. You have no way of like discerning through context or nuance or if someone is trying to make a joke or not, where you just automatically go, oh, he's like saying something that's anti-gay. He can't be like being sarcastic, can't be making like a classic like, yeah, you're dude in the butt, like classic Hasan looking at a good joke and taking credit for it. Wait, what? No, it's just like conservatives look at this and go, oh, he's homophobic. Okay, that means he must think like butt sex is gross and disgusting. He's homophobic. That means he's with us. And Radlibs kind of do the same shit too, where they're like, oh, dude, this guy, comedian, 100% bad guy. 100%. He's a bad guy. He must be right wing. I have categorized him as a right wing guy. But anyway, Shane Gillis bit about his uncle who has Down syndrome. I've always loved this bit.
I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. Bit of a day walker myself. It's funny when you bring up Down syndrome, you can always tell who's never been around it in their lives. You know what I mean? Like if I tell people, if I'm like, yeah, I have family members with Down syndrome, people that have never been around it are always like, oh. Like Down syndrome is the fucking end of the world. Like, oh. Are they okay? Are they doing okay? It's like, they're doing better than everybody I know. They're the only dudes I know having a good time pretty consistently. Sorry they're not on fucking Adderall and anti-anxiety like the rest of us. They're on Capri Suns.
For the record, this is what I always say. Anti-Gonzo, you're absolutely correct. Turns out, jokes about people are funny if you actually have experiences with them and you humanize them. Instead of being like, haha, lol, look at Down syndrome people, aren't they weird? Okay? That's the whole point. That's what good comedians do. That's what they do. They develop a decent understanding of something that is like not the norm in a sense, considering that like we do have a relatively ableist society. And instead of punching up, you just like develop a nuanced view and you break it down and you explain it in a funny way. That's it. And it's great. It's cool. But he's you know, he does definitely have like bits that I would say are not my favorite, but it's so funny to be like, no, Bud Light appears to be in desperation mode, partners with right-leaning comedian Shane Gillis. Remarkable. Gillis, who is polar opposite from Dylan Mulvaney, is popular for his gay jokes and pro-conservative takes. Gay Vikings, dude. You're like, oh no, it's the Vikings. They're going to rip our wives. And then they pull out their fucking rainbow flag on their boat. And you're just like, oh, for the record, I think Shane Gillis is hilarious. That's it. That's like, he heard a bit and was like, I made up my mind about his politics. And I have decided that he is like funny as a consequence of him being ideologically my ally. And that's where we're at. Okay. That's where we're at. It's just like, it's ridiculous. And everybody does this. Literally everybody does this. Okay. Everyone does this. Same with Bill Burr. Like, unless you just openly are just like, no, I'm a fucking socialist or some shit. Most people are just like making up their minds about what your politics are and only deciding on whether or not they support you if you are ideologically, in their minds, their allies. It's like civil war without the violence. I mean, it's just like so stupid. It's so dumb. And yeah, it's hilarious because like he literally talked about getting a Bud Light sponsorship during the Dylan Mulvaney shit, as he also made fun of like all the people losing their minds over Dylan Mulvaney. You know what I mean? And now they've given him a sponsorship, and now people are like, oh yeah, we own Bud Light so hard they're working with like right-wing celebrities, not realizing that Bud Light has never stopped supporting right-wing causes, you dumb. They never stopped genuinely giving money to right-wing politicians. That never stopped. It's so stupid. Anyway, did chat show you his Biden v. Trump bit?
I will say, I don't care if they arrest him. If he loses the primary, let him debate, dude. If he gets arrested, Hannibal Lecter him out to the... Here's my idea. Final debate of the year. Have one Republican candidate, one Democrat. Be like, all right, fellas, surprise third guest tonight. Stone cold music, the glass shatters. He walks out. They're both gay. I think it is actually important to see how the candidates handle that type of pressure of debating with Trump. Every debate,
dude, this is a great bit. I can't believe they're like cutting it though. That so much of the beauty is like stolen from it when you actually do the YouTuber jump cuts. It's crazy. Would you take a Bud Light sponsorship? The Dom Tom, he keeps asking me, would you take a Bud Light sponsorship so much that he got Fossabot clapped? Probably not. I mean, I don't really give a shit. But the only sponsorship I care about is the top of the hour ad break. Okay. And the subscriptions that come from all of you at the top of the hour, because you don't want to see the top of the hour ad break. I do want a Mountain Dew sponsorship though. I fuck with that heavy. I don't really listen to I don't really drink Bud Light, but I do absolutely consume Diet Mountain Dews like there's no tomorrow.
He just bullied whoever was up there. The only one who did pretty good in the debates against him was Biden, just because he had no idea what was being said, which actually helped him. That worked out for him. Because Trump's whole thing is he tries to get in the other guy's head. Can't get in Joe's head. Joe's not in there. Good luck, dude. Biden is Trump's kryptonite in a debate. Trump tries to drag the other guy into like a shit-talking contest. He can't get Biden. Every debate he's trying so hard, and Biden's just... He tries. It's just, you're a loser. Your son did crack. Biden's just, what? Oh, damn, dude, that's actually a pretty good comeback. You might win this.
But yeah, I mean, look, the problem with comedy and the way that we understand culture, this is the last thing I'm going to say on this issue. The problem with the way that we understand comedy is that like we forget that the goal of a comedian is to try to make you laugh. Okay. And in that pursuit, they can say things that they don't even personally believe in. Okay. They can say things that they don't believe in. Their job is to try and get you to laugh. And if something is funny or it gets a lot of laughs, then that's going to be a part of their routine. Obviously, it's no holds barred. You can make a joke about anything. It's just that jokes that are targeting, in my opinion, as someone who's a comedy enjoyer and someone who is otherwise considered quote unquote woke. Okay. From where I'm standing, the way I understand it is that if you are trying to bring out humor in a otherwise marginalized group, there's definitely a lot of funny things you can joke about. Right. However, it is a way more difficult endeavor. It is very lazy and very hacky to just like look at a marginalized group, even like people with Down syndrome, for example, and go, they're fucking weird, right? Like, look, that's weird. That's a hacky ass thing. It's infinitely harder to draw out the humanity of a group of individuals that are otherwise not seen as like fully human as a consequence of being marginalized, right? You literally do that all the time, pretending to be a hog. Yeah, I mean, I love portraying myself as a hog. Hogs have so much fun, and hog politics is great overall. Like, but we know what Hasan believes in. Okay, but the point is, like, just because you don't know what someone else believes in, or just because you think that they believe in like right-wing politics, like, shouldn't change the way you consume it. Okay, Like, you need to look at the impact as well as the intent, I guess. Anyway, my point always is that if you want to be a solid comedian, okay, you can touch those otherwise like very edgy subjects. If you don't come at it from a point of like genuine understanding and humanity, then yeah, you're gonna come across like an asshole, and maybe some people will laugh because they are also assholes. But that's not gonna make a good bit. That's not going to be funny. That's it. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm saying. And I think Shane does a pretty good job with a lot of this. Shane does a pretty good job with a lot of the subjects he covers, especially when it comes to like the Down syndrome stuff that he's done. Ricky Gervais is a great example of someone who never does that, who never can do that. Okay, he has never spent even a moment of his life being relatively curious about someone who isn't just like a white dude. Okay, and that's fucking boring. That's boring as hell. That's why I yell all the goddamn time about people. That's why I yell all the goddamn time about people in my community that are like, well, this guy's right wing. Don't watch him. And it's like, who cares? Who cares? Like, chill out. Okay, be normal. Ricky Gervais is the favorite comedian of all the most annoying Redditors. Yeah, I mean, he's made like decent stuff in the past. It's just we're way past that point at this venture, at this juncture. Some of his jokes maybe don't come from a place of understanding, but that guy absolutely saw jokes that came from a place of understanding and went, this must be right wing. Yeah, that's what's like really stupid about that. I can't be the only one who, I don't know, likes to maybe hear the perspective of the other side of the mountain, people too deep in. I mean, there's a difference, right? Like, obviously, we like to make jokes. We like to have fun, and we like to make jokes and minimize the impact of people who are genuinely reactionary. But obviously, there's a line there. Like, there's a difference between, like, I don't know, making a couple jokes about like Nazis or whatever versus like normalizing that kind of behavior. There's nuance to it. That's it. Don't be a socialism is when no joke type dude though, because everybody likes to laugh. And if you are you know, making it your global mission to not have fun and not laugh, then you're going to be an unlikable person. Okay?